Hi book lovers, my name is Christina and welcome back to Cozy Novel Niche. Today I'm here with a very special video, and first of all, sorry for being missing in action for a little bit, but as I think you knew, I was away for a couple of weeks for my honeymoon in Japan and it was amazing. Japan is such a lovely place. I so dearly hope that in the future I will be able to visit it again because it definitely deserves it. I've seen just a small fraction of Japan and I just simply fell in love. It was so beautiful and lovely. Plus we went there during the sakura blossoming. So sakura is the cherry tree. So the cherry tree blossom, and it was just so beautiful and mesmerizing, and I'm completely in love with Japan, absolutely. And today I'm here, as you know from the title, for my book haul from Japan, because yes, I was on a book buying ban, but one of the conditions that I gave myself was that if I would travel, I will allow myself to buy one book or maybe more, and this was definitely the case because I ended up going to a bookshop unattended and I wasn't able to refrain from buying books. So I bought a couple couples, maybe 3 couples, more like 6 books. Yeah. And it was a journey because it meant that from that moment I had to put everything in the luggage and carry it around Japan with me. I tried to buy books only toward the end of the journey, but we still had a couple of days away from the cities. We were like traveling to the mountains with this huge luggage with my books in it. It was an adventure. But they are here with me and they will forever be linked to that amazing memory. So, without further ado, let me get to the books. The first 3 are actually a series. For now, it's a complete series, but I believe that there is a 4th book maybe on the way, and it is quite famous all over BookTube too. I've listened to the first book, and I enjoyed it, so I decided to buy one day or another the physical copy, and what better day to buy it than to buy it in Japan, since it's by a Japanese author, and it's Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and then Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe, and then Before Your Memory Fades. And they're pretty small books, so I wasn't feeling very guilty for the weight of my luggage at this point. And these books are written, by the way, by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And it is a piece of literary fiction with a bit of magical realism in it. And the premise of the book is that it is set in this small cafe in Tokyo, I believe, if I remember correctly. And it is a small place, but it is known for its kind of magical and unusual properties because apparently people are able to time travel in this cafe. But something that a lot of customers don't know is that there is a very rigid set of rules to follow if you want to go to the past and come back unharmed. And so one of the premises is, of course, before the coffee gets cold. So you have just a limited amount of time to spend in the past. And these stories, it is a collection of different pieces of life, since you follow different characters who want to travel in the past, and so you discover why, what are the reasons, and what got them there, and what they want to achieve with this travel in time. So you follow their lives, and of course they're like quite melancholic and a little bit sad, as a lot of Japanese literature is. Not all of it, of course, but there is this feeling of melancholy almost. So I enjoyed actually, and so that's the reason why I decided to buy all the 3 books, and the first one will be a reread and the other 2 will be something new, so I can wait to get to them. Then I went on a shopping spree and I swear to you, I left some books. I've not bought everything that I wanted, but some of the ones that I got with me were all from the shelf on which they had like Japanese literature that was translated into English. That is my thing. When I go somewhere, I want to bring home a book that is written about the place that I'm visiting or by authors from the places that I'm visiting, of course, so they are much more meaningful. And the other book that I bought is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. This is a book that I had on my wish list already. I knew some things about it. It was shortlisted for the 2020 International Booker Prize, and the setting of this book, that is a dystopian book, is that we follow our main character, who is a novelist on an island where apparently sometimes things disappear and people forget about them completely. And apparently our novelist discovers that his editor is in danger of being taken away by the memory police that is responsible actually for the fading memories and the disappearance of objects or people. And for some reason the editor or the narrator, so the novelist, doesn't forget, and it becomes increasingly difficult for him to hide his memories. Who knows what will vanish next? So again, it's not a big book, so I wasn't feeling too guilty, and it's dystopian that I really wanted to get to sooner or later. So now I have it, and it's forever linked to my trip to Japan. So can't wait to get to it. And then I had to buy one more book that was on my wish list previously, and it's now so much more meaningful because I bought it in Japan, and it's Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura. This, first of all, I love the cover of this book. It's so simple yet very, very beautiful. I don't know, I just love this illustration. And this book is... I just realized that I'm not using my microphone for this. Yay! So sorry, the audio will be a little bit different from usual, but yeah, I just decided to film on a whim. Sorry, I just realized it. Whatever. This book is, again, kind of magical realism, a bit of fantasy-ish, maybe. And it's about a group of 7 young people who live in Tokyo, and who one day discover that their mirrors are kind of glowing, so they touch a mirror and they end up in this castle in the mirror. And apparently there is kind of a challenge going on inside this world where they have to find a key and solve a mystery so that their wish will be granted, and they're kind of competing against each other, I guess. And there is a set of rules to follow, a set of rules to be followed, but it's a little bit complicated and the consequences are quite harsh. So I know that it's quite vague, but I think that I will enjoy it. Japanese magical realism is something that, I don't know why, but I kind of enjoy. And so I know that it's strange for someone, but usually I enjoy it. It's very out there and kind of mystical, and a little bit strange and undefined, but I really enjoy it usually. So I hope that I will love this book too. This is a little bit more on a longer side compared to the others. It's 350 pages, but it's absolutely beautiful. It was already on my wish list, so I hope that I will love it as much as I expect. And the very last one is something that I wasn't expecting necessarily to buy, but since I saw it there, I just decided to go with it on a whim, since I bought all of these books in Kyoto. This is Geisha. Geisha is a book written by Lisa Dalby, and this book is the experience of Lisa Dalby, who is one of the very few Western women who ended up becoming geishas. And nowadays, I don't know if when was it written actually, because nowadays I'm not sure when was it written. It was written in 1983, so I don't know how old is she, but anyhow, afterwards she lived for a long time in California. She is an anthropologist who was specialized in Japanese culture, so it will be very fascinating to see the perspective of a Westerner yeah, I guess, who ended up becoming such strong part of Japanese culture, who tries and tells about what it is from the inside, but coming from the outside. I don't know if it makes sense. But yeah, I think that it will be a very fascinating kind of point of view. And afterwards, I will for sure try and read the other book written by a geisha, who was actually the one that inspired Arthur Golden to write The Memories of a Geisha. And I know that there was a huge controversy because the author of that book, that geisha, she was very upset with the content of Memories of a Geisha, if I remember correctly. So that would be interesting to put all together, maybe to read this one and after reread Memories of a Geisha and then follow with the other book written by the actual geisha. So I know it's a little bit confusing, but I have a plan in my mind for this reading experience. But I think that it will be fascinating for sure, even if it's not written by a Japanese person. But since she lived there and she became such a part of Japanese culture, I would love to hear her thoughts about it. And of course, it was written in the 80s, so a lot of things changed meanwhile. But still, I think that it will be a valid read. Again, it's a personal point of view of the person who wrote this book, so we will see. And then two things that are not exactly book related are two small things that I brought from Japan, but I want to share them with you because they are silly but lovely, and so I want to share them. First of all is this lovely, lovely Princess Serenity. I don't know if you can see her, but she's just like the cutest thing ever. Please focus on her. And then I have this Totoro. He's just lovely. I adore him. He's the cutest thing ever. I mean, just so lovely, and they make me smile every time when I see them for whatever reason. They're just silly things, but I adore them. And of course, I bought a lot of small gifts for my friends here and there, but these are the things that I bought for myself and I decided to keep. So this kinda is my small Japanese haul from the trip. But the very best thing that happened, and I'm leaving it at the end, but it was really the best and most unexpected thing ever, was that I was able to meet in Kyoto with Unicorn. And she is a fellow booktuber. We started almost at the same time, booktube, almost like 6 years ago at this point. And she lives in America. I live in Italy. And we were able to meet in Kyoto. I mean, how wild and absolutely random is that? But it was so lovely to finally meet her in person, and so strange to see someone in person that you're used to seeing like on your phone or on your TV when you're watching YouTube videos, and like to actually see the person in life was just amazing. And she's every bit as lovely and knowledgeable as she seems in her videos, and I just adored meeting her. She's amazing, and it was so fun to just spend an evening just strolling around Kyoto and catching up a bit about booktube and books and just everything in our trip. So it was very lovely, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to meet her. And yes, this concludes my like bookish haul, let's say, from Japan. I'm so glad with all the things that I got. And if you're curious to know more about the trip in Japan, if you have some questions or things that you think that I may help you with, like some suggestions or stuff like that, let me know down below. I'm planning to film maybe 1 or 2 videos about my experience, just to share some tips and tricks. And for now, this is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. And by the way, if you have any books that are set in Japan or written by Japanese authors that you enjoy, let me know down below, because I love knowing more about more authors and books that I would not discover otherwise. So you're helping me out definitely here. Thank you so much, and curl up with a great book, and I will see you the next time. Bye! Ciao!